I'm delighted to be joined by LA Knight. We've got a massive event coming up at the weekend, but first things first, I want to talk to you about your career. I've obviously got Shinsuke Nakamura. He's taken the US title away from you, and I know that you're a competitor and you want to get that one back very soon.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if you look at the way that things kind of went down, the guy just kind of rushes back into the scene, and then what a little rake of the eyes, a little smack on the back of the head, and a what the steel dividers that was between the two rings there at War Games. Yeah, so there's a lot of payback coming there, and as far as I'm concerned, at some point or another, I'm going to get my U.S. title back.
Absolutely. We're expecting that possibly at some point in the future. But you and Shinsuke were attacked by the Bloodline, and I know that you're going to want to pay them back for what they did.
Well, it looks like I guess Shinsuke threatened them with the what that missed. And so I guess they kind of gave him a look. It seemed like they were more out to get me and Andrade, as far as I could tell. Or they were just out to get anybody. I'm really not sure what their aim was, but yeah. So that's kind of got me looking with a renewed look in the direction of the bloodline at this point now.
Absolutely. And we've got a massive event coming up at the weekend. Give me a little preview of the main event. What do you think is going to go down
For this weekend.
this weekend? Yeah.
I really don't know. I mean, between Cody and Kevin, I imagine you're asking. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Personally, don't know. On a personal level, don't really care. Honestly, because it has nothing to do with me. Those guys are going to do the thing. I mean, as far as I can tell, look, Cody probably needs to. Kevin needs to get over himself on some things here. And maybe Kevin thinks that about Cody. I really don't know. Again, don't really care. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Cody. I got to imagine it's the very first Saturday night's main event in a very, very long time. And the WWE champion is going to probably want to come out with that championship. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I'm not any kind of Nostradamus here or anything like that, but that would be my guess. I'm sure it's going to be probably a crazy wild time. You got two explosive personalities there, so who knows?
I think within your time in the WWE and wrestling in general, you have proved yourself as one of the greatest trash talkers of all time. One in particular that stands out for me, you're going toe to toe with The Miz, you call him a stepping stone, and I don't think anybody has ever looked more annoyed in their entire lives than The Miz did in that moment. So what's it been like verbally abusing The Miz over the years?
Man, I've just wanted to talk trash to people for a long time, and Miz was in my sights, kind of when I was on the outside for a long time. And then when I got on the inside, so to speak, here in WWE, I hadn't really even considered crossing paths with him because I was just so busy just trying to get a foothold at all. And so when the time came, and I mean, he got his shots in too, and we talked a lot of trash to each other, but you point that one out. But one of my favorites was when I had mentioned his wife feeling empty, and we won't finish the rest of that, but it's all out there and available for everybody to see. But it was a good time.
It most certainly is. And I think you're quite good because you don't always know what angle you're going to go at. Because there's a moment on NXT when you approach Wade Barrett and it seems like you're being really friendly. And then suddenly you put him down. That one was particularly funny. Relive that moment for me.
Well, which one? Because I feel like I did that to him many times. I mean, I did that very straight from the beginning, from the day I walked in, because he'd always been very complimentary. But at the same time, it's like I don't need anybody singing my praises, and maybe that's a flaw in me. And because now I've got the whole world singing my praises, so to speak, and it's just been for years and years and years me kind of only having myself to count on, and I can't mean that in any realer way. I mean that has always kind of been me. The only person I can trust is me, and so with that in mind, yeah, for me to just go out there and have a little fun with that and just talk trash, even on the people who are trying to support me and say my name and all that kind of stuff, and just get out of here, you goof. Yeah, so you might see some little twists like that. Who knows?
Yeah, it's
Anything can happen when I'm out there.
anything can happen. It's crazy you mentioned there at one point you only had yourself to rely on. Now it feels like you have the entire WWE universe to rely on. Because I remember coming out of an event once and there was thousands and thousands of people all shouting yeah in unison. What's it like just to have this huge support?
Man, it's different. It's unexpected at the same time. In a weird way, it's kind of, well, you know what so funny too is for the longest time I can remember being in other companies or different trajectories in my path, and people be like, "Oh, you're definitely never going to be a fan favorite," and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, okay, I'm fine with that," because to me, it's all a matter of just I'm going to get the most reaction that I possibly can, whether it's negative, positive, as far away from zero as I can get is where I'm going to go. And it's just so funny to have all those voices echoing in my head, and here we are. Uh, and I've spent the vast majority of my time on SmackDown with the people firmly, strongly behind me.
Everybody's backing you. Everybody loves hearing you trash talk. And as I mentioned, you are one of the best at it. Who do you think makes it onto a Mount Rushmore of WWE trash talkers?
Oh wow, there's so many to choose from. Geez, man, you're only gonna let me count do four, huh? Um, I mean, it's got to be Austin, Rock, Flair, and then I'm really stuck for that fourth one because I mean, um, if you don't go into some of the more like PG kind of goofy stuff, Cena's up there because Cena can rip you apart if he really gets serious on you. Even looking at, I mean, Piper, uh, Jake the Snake, amazing Jake Roberts promos. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna just put John in there, and I know he's got some honorable mentions of things where it's like, all right, I don't know about this, but for real, like you've seen him many times. Just when he gets serious, just dismantle people.
Yeah, you've mentioned so many legends there. And another icon who you spent so much time around was Paul Bearer at one point in your career. Can you tell me about your memories of being with him?
Um, Man, I got put with him when I was out in LA. I've lived out there three different times now, and I'll probably be fourth at some point when I retire. But my second time that I'd moved out there, I got paired up with him when I was wrestling for NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Um, and it was kind of a cool thing because it was actually me, him, and Brian Cage. We were Brian Cage and I were a tag team, and he started out managing us, and then at some point we had split apart, and Percy Paul stayed with me, and we really kind of formed like a not like a super close friendship, but like close enough where like I could call him from time to time and stuff like that. Dude was always cracking jokes on everybody, pulling pranks and stuff. I mean, he always had like goofy names for people and stuff like that. I just remember one time guys trying to cut a promo in front of the camera. Here's Paul behind the camera pulling his ass out or something like that, just mooning people, trying to get reactions, trying to get him to break. Um, so he was just a lot of fun to be around, but also really cool in the respect of like if I needed to call him or ask him something, hey, I really need, you've got a mind for this, you've done this for so long. Can you give me like a little bit of advice on this? And he would, and it wasn't just like he would give it and like, hey, whatever. He was very thankful that I had asked him.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crazy to see everything that you've done in your entire career. So, to finish off, what do you think is the most incredible memory you have, either something that's happened in the ring or behind the scenes? And to close off, is there any final words you have for this weekend?
Wow. The craziest memory I have probably has nothing to do with wrestling, but if we're talking wrestling, then we're gonna say, yeah, man, at this point, it's got to be the United States Championship at SummerSlam. I mean, rolling to Cleveland in that stadium, filled, packed to the gills with all those people there. I got friends, I got family, I got everybody out there. And that 3 count goes down and that music hits, and there's a new champion. Man, you can't get any bigger than that. And that was just a cool night all around. I mean, even backstage and like meeting up with Jelly Roll and stuff like that, and everybody was cool. It was a great time. As far as a message, the only message I can really give is, look, man, we got this whole tour coming up in March. So look, we got a bunch of shows coming. We're going to be coming out to Europe, and I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there, and at some point, I don't know if it'll happen by then. I'm hoping it'll happen by then. Hopefully, you'll see your new U.S. champion showing up out there in Europe.